Listen, don't judge my gross, messy desk. You can't even really see it, but it's not great, right? We're about to renovate, but until then, I got kicked out of my office by my 10-year-old. I've been relegated to what is essentially the playroom. I can play with that. I can shoot some hoops and bust some J's. You know what I mean? I can drop some bombs in the middle of my workday if I absolutely need to. So that's a plus. My name is Brian Bandas. I'm building a real estate development company. I'm becoming a better father, a better husband, a better entrepreneur, and a better man every single day. Let's get it. All right, so one of the things that I have really sort of struggled with since I've started this company and been building this company is managing cash flow and trying to manage and anticipate the movement of cash. The business I'm building is very cash intensive, and the velocity of cash flow, right? It's moving around a lot. There's a lot coming in and a lot coming out all the time. And yeah, maybe it comes out in the wash. Maybe I've got a construction loan and so I need to pay $30,000 for lumber, but I've got this construction loan, so I'm not really paying for it out of pocket. There's still the possibility that invoice comes in and I haven't gotten the money from the loan yet, or maybe that invoice comes in and then another one comes in and another one comes in and I don't have all of that covered. There's a lot moving around, right? And so for me, the challenge is I'm trying to find a balance. The balance is between being overly cautious and overly careless. The overly cautious would be, I've got $100,000 sitting here just to make sure I never have that shortfall and can't buy the lumber. When what's really happening is inflation is insane right now, 6 or 7% on up to 10 or 12. Either way, it's bad, right? And so having this $100,000 in a savings account, in a business checking account it's not growing at all, that money's losing value, right? And so overly conservative would be me overestimating how much cash I need to keep on hand and therefore not putting that cash to work. So putting it to work might reasonably look like, hey, I've got 100 grand. I don't need 100 grand like operating capital right now. Maybe I need 50. So I'm going to take the other 50 and put it into a project as equity so that it's working for me. On the flip side, I do have to anticipate what expenses are coming up, whether it's a lumber package or payroll, which I'm slowly starting to take on monthly overhead. And I have to make sure, one of the challenges for me is I don't get some sort of bi-weekly paycheck or something. My company gets paid when I finish and sell a project. So for me, I actually have one I think is about to sell in a week. And then the next one's maybe not going to sell for another month and a half, 2 months. And so I have to know now, or honestly, way before now, I have to know that, all right, I'm going to sell this thing at the beginning of December, and then I'm not going to get another, cash sort of influx until February. And then after that, I might go until April for the next one. What I've come up with is this projection, and it has every month, it has what my cash flow, my cash balance is at the end of this month. So let's just go back and pretend I've got $100,000. Then it's got automatically built in my overhead fixed expenses. So that could be salary to somebody else, whatever I'm paying myself in salary, my different subscriptions, like I use QuickBooks, I'm paying for that. I'm paying a bookkeeper, I'm paying a CFO. So it's got those expenses. And so I've got my cash balance at the beginning of the document, and then I've got it broken down by month. And every month I go, okay, I know that every single month it's going to cost me, let's say $15,000 right now, or $20,000, whatever the number is, to run my business. And then I go back in and I say, I believe that this project will sell in December for this amount, and I'll make that. So I add that back in. I give, as some of you guys already know, I give 10% of every single project to the schools where that project is zoned. So I then go in, and if I'm going to make $50,000 on this project, at the same time that I add that in, I go minus 5,000. That's going to the schools. And so I do that, and I project out as far as I can. Every single month, 15,000 or 20 or whatever number it is coming out. And then I go back in and I add in. For instance, one of them is a massive tax bill that I've got in April of next year projected out. I don't know what the number is going to be. I have a guess. It's going to suck. And so I've got that in there in April, and my, cash balance goes way down. That is how I know whether or not I can go out and put my money to work rather than keeping it in and making sure I can cover everything. So then I have to decide what is my comfort level? What is the dollar amount that I do want to have sitting here and operating just liquid so I can write a check and then reimburse it and write another one, reimburse it, etc. And whether that's $30, $40, $50,000, for you it might be 10 or it might be 250. For me, I have to decide what that number is, and then I can look at my cash flow projections and go, oh man, like I'm actually way ahead of the game, so I've got a little money that I can put to work now. So for me, if it's 50, if I'm going, hey, my floor is 50, I really don't want to sink below 50 at any given time. That's how I know I've got an emergency fund here for the business. And I've got 100, then I can go, all right, I can put 100 to work. Now, what I want to do before I do that is look at the next 6 to 8 months, if not a year, and make sure there's not a moment in there where I'm going 4 months without a project closing and all of a sudden I'm going to be screwed. I spend the money now and I run out in 5 months. That's bad. So that's what this whole thing is trying to solve is, am I going to accidentally invest money now and put it to work as equity when I should keep it liquid because I'm actually going to need it in March of next year? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to learn as I go. And I'm trying to be really conservative with my numbers in terms of anticipating what it will cost me each month to run my business, right? So if I've put, let's say $20,000 per month in, my hope would be that that's a conservative number and I actually run my business for 15 or 16 or 17 or whatever. And so my numbers truly end up looking better than this. For me, I don't want to be so conservative that I'm wasteful and my money is losing value, but I'm too afraid to go put it to work. But I also don't want to be so aggressive and optimistic that I go out and I use too much cash and all of a sudden I have 3 months where we don't close a deal and I'm trying to make payroll. And even though I've got a lot of money that is my net worth and it's out there working, I don't have access to it as cash and I'm screwed, right? So that's what I'm working on now. And for the moment it's working. I guess we'll find out, next spring if this was actually worthwhile.